I'm Emma, 29 years old, and I walked into my apartment to find my best friend wearing my engagement ring, not trying it on, not admiring it, wearing it on her left hand, like it belonged there. The grocery bags were still in my hands. I'd bought the expensive strawberries, $12 for a small container because Sarah texted saying she was craving them and could I pick some up. I'm an idiot, by the way. We'll get to that. My key was still in the door when I heard Derek laugh. The one he does when he's comfortable. When he thinks no one's watching. That laugh used to make me feel safe. It was coming from my kitchen. And I realized the truth. Your body knows before your brain catches up. That's a real thing. Like how you can feel someone staring at you from across a room. How you know the vibe's wrong before anyone opens their mouth. How your stomach drops before you understand why. My stomach was in my feet. My hand slipped and bags hit the floor. Strawberries rolled everywhere. One split open on my white rug. The rug I'd saved 3 months to buy. I walked to the kitchen doorway and stood there. And there they were. At my table. The one I spent 3 weekends refinishing because I loved the worn wood and Derek said it had character and made jokes about me being so dedicated to a piece of furniture. His hand was on top of hers. Her hand had my engagement ring. The one with the tiny star-shaped inclusion in the diamond that you could only see if you held it up to the light at exactly the right angle. Derek's grandmother's ring. She had cried about it when she handed it to him in a velvet box and said, she wore this for 47 years. This ring saw real love. Sarah saw me first. And here's the thing that broke something in me. She looked annoyed. Not guilty. Not embarrassed. Not caught. Annoyed. Like I'd interrupted her afternoon and how dare I use my own key to enter my own apartment. Emma. Derek stood up so fast his chair screamed across the floor. We didn't want you to find out this way. I just stood there with my mouth open. Brain completely blue screening. You know that moment in movies where everything goes quiet and fuzzy? It's real. Everything sounded like I was underwater. Sarah stayed sitting, twisting the ring on her finger. My ring. It was almost like she was showing it off. I know this is hard, she said, using the same sympathetic voice she'd used when explaining why she couldn't pay me back for rent. Again. The voice that said, I'm going through something so you need to be understanding. But Derek and I have been trying to figure out how to tell you. We didn't want to hurt you. Didn't want to hurt me? And that's when I noticed the details. Sarah was wearing one of my sweaters. The cream cashmere one I'd bought myself for my birthday. The one I'd torn my apartment apart looking for last week. There were 2 wine glasses on the counter. The expensive Merlot I'd been saving for a special occasion was open. Half empty. My Spotify was playing on the speaker. They'd been listening to my music. In my apartment. Drinking my wine. And she was wearing my ring. The audacity. How long? My voice came out smaller than I wanted. I hated it. Hated how weak I sounded. They looked at each other. You know that look. The one couples have. The silent communication that says we're a unit now and you're outside of it. The look that says we have inside jokes and shared secrets and a history that you're not part of and never will be. I'd given Derek that look 1,000 times. Now he was giving it to someone else. Does it matter? Sarah asked. She said it gently. Like she was being kind. Like she was doing me a favor by not giving me the details. Yes, Sarah. It fucking matters. It matters because I have a Pinterest board with 847 pins for our wedding. It matters because I spent last Tuesday with your mother picking out bridesmaid dresses, and she told me she was so grateful her son found someone like me. It matters because you were supposed to walk down the aisle before I did, wearing a dress I helped you pick, holding flowers I was paying for. But I didn't say any of that. My throat was too tight. My eyes were burning, but I refused to cry. Not in front of them. Not while she was wearing my ring and my sweater and sitting at my table like she belonged there more than I did. I just turned around. Left the groceries on the floor. Left the wine. Left the ring. Left my entire life sitting at that table with 2 people who'd been laughing at me for who knows how long. My hands were shaking so hard I couldn't get my car key in the ignition. Took me 4 tries. Then I just sat there in the parking lot, staring at my building. At the window of my own apartment. The lights were on. I could see their shadows moving around. They were probably discussing me. Probably relieved I'd left quietly. Probably proud of themselves for handling it well. Okay, real talk. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your location if you've ever trusted completely the wrong person. If you've ever been the idiot who believed the lies because you didn't think people you loved were capable of that kind of betrayal. Hit subscribe because what I did next, they never saw it coming. And honestly, I didn't either. I sat in that car for 43 minutes. I know because I watched the clock. Watched the numbers change. Counted my breaths. Tried to figure out if I was having a panic attack or if this was just what heartbreak felt like. That's when my brain started working again. 3 weeks ago. Sarah borrowed my laptop because hers was broken again. She was always breaking things. Dropping her phone. Spilling coffee on electronics. Living in a constant state of crisis that required other people's resources. She'd been in my bedroom for 2 hours that day. I remembered because I was on a work call in the living room and kept hearing her laugh. When I asked what was funny, she said she was watching TikToks while waiting for application pages to load. She was applying for jobs. That's what she told me. 2 months ago, Derek came home with a hickey on his neck. A hickey. On his neck. Like we were 16. I'd stared at it while he explained that the gym towel was rough. That he'd scrubbed his neck too hard in the shower. That I was being paranoid for even questioning it. You don't trust me? He'd asked. Made me apologize. Made me feel crazy for noticing. 6 months ago, Sarah made this joke at dinner. We were all together. Her, me, Derek, and Marcus. Someone asked Derek what he loved most about me, and before he could answer, Sarah said that she doesn't ask too many questions. Everyone laughed. Even me. But she didn't laugh. Not really. She smiled. But her eyes were doing something else. Something I didn't have words for at the time. Now I did. Victory. 8 months ago. Derek started going to the gym on Thursdays. He'd never been a gym person. Hated working out. But suddenly he needed to get in shape. He'd come home showered already. Said it was easier than waiting. I'd been so proud of him. Encouraged it. Bought him new workout clothes. The pattern had been there all along. Painted in neon colors. Screaming at me. And I'd been too nice, too trusting, too busy being the good girlfriend to see it. What I discovered over the next 48 hours made me realize I hadn't just lost a fiancé and a best friend. I'd been robbed. Systematically. Methodically. For 3 years. And they'd been counting on me being too nice to do anything about it. Let me back up. Because this didn't start with a ring on someone else's finger. It started 3 years ago with me being the kind of person who helps. The kind of person who sees someone crying and can't just walk away. I went to a networking event at a hotel conference room. An hour later, I was tired and hid in the bathroom scrolling through my phone, avoiding small talk, when Sarah stumbled in. There was mascara everywhere running down her face in black rivers. Her dress was wrinkled with hair falling out of what was probably once a neat bun. She looked like the universe had just kicked her repeatedly and wasn't done yet. She was sobbing so sadly it caught my attention. "Are you okay?" I asked. It was a stupid question. Obviously she wasn't okay. Bad breakup, she managed between gasps. He cheated with my roommate. Now my roommate's kicking me out. I have nowhere to go. And I think I'm about to lose my job because I've been missing so much work dealing with all of this. She looked at me with these big, wet eyes. I'm sorry. I don't even know you. I'm a mess. And because I'm that person, because my mom raised me to be kind and helpful and all those things that apparently translate to easy target in certain languages, offered her a tissue from my purse. Then offered her my couch for the night. One night turned into a week. Week turned into a month. She never offered rent. Never offered to buy groceries. Never offered anything except excuses about why she was still getting back on her feet. My ex drained our joint account, she'd say, eating the Thai food I'd picked up. I'm just waiting for the bank to sort it out. Or, my job cut my hours. Temporary. Just until the quarter ends. Or, My mom's sick and I'm sending money home. Always something. Always a reason. Always delivered with just enough distress that questioning it felt cruel. I never asked her to leave. Because that's not what good people do, right? Good people help. Good people give people second chances. Third chances. 78th chances. When she finally moved out, it was into a place I'd helped her find. I'd written her reference letter. Lied about how long I'd known her. Paid her first month's rent as a loan. $1,800. That money? I never saw it again. But that's what friends do, right? They help each other. They don't keep score. They trust that when you need help, the favor gets returned. 6 months after I met her, I made my second catastrophic mistake. I introduced Sarah to my boyfriend Derek at a dinner party. Derek was stable. A financial analyst with a good job and better apartment. He remembered birthdays and anniversaries. Never yelled or played games. He was the kind of guy your mom wants you to marry. The kind of guy who seems too good to be true. He was too good to be true. But not in the way I thought. We'd been together for 2 years when I introduced them. Talking about marriage. About buying a house with a yard for the dog we'd eventually get. About kids and retirement plans and all those future conversations that feel safe and certain. Sarah loved him immediately. He's perfect, Emma. Oh my God. You're so lucky. He's like exactly what you deserve. You guys are going to have such a beautiful life together. She said it with such enthusiasm. Such genuine seeming happiness. She hugged me after she said it. Told me I was glowing. I thought she was being a good friend. But no, she was studying the target. A year later, I got promoted to senior marketing director. My salary increase felt like finally I was making it. Like all the late nights and skipped lunches and extra projects were worth it. I took Sarah out to celebrate. We had good wine at a high-class restaurant. I felt invincible. I'm so proud of you, Sarah said, raising her glass. You work so hard. You deserve everything good. Then, as we were leaving, she pulled me aside. Emma, I hate asking. I really do. But I'm in trouble. I need emergency dental work. $2,000. My tooth is infected, and I don't have insurance, and if I don't get it fixed, I could end up in the hospital. She showed me her phone. WebMD article about dental infections. Pictures that looked medical and scary. I'll pay you back as soon as my tax return comes. I promise. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't an emergency. I sent it that night. I didn't even think about it. Because I remembered her crying in that bathroom. Because she was my friend. Because that's what you do when someone you care about is in pain. The tax return never came. Or it did, but suddenly there were other emergencies. Her car needed repairs. Her mom needed surgery. Her rent went up unexpectedly. Always something. Always urgent. Always just beyond her control. I stopped asking about the money. Because asking felt awkward. Like I was prioritizing money over friendship. That was the first $2,000. 3 months later, Emma, my car insurance is due and I'm short $400. Can you help me out? I'll pay you back next paycheck. 5 months later, my landlord's threatening to evict me. I need $800 to catch up on rent. I'm so embarrassed to ask. 7 months later, emergency vet bill. My cat needs surgery, $1,200. I'm desperate. Every time I said yes. Every time, the money disappeared into some black hole where repayment didn't exist. She borrowed my designer dress. The black one with the interesting neckline. The one I'd saved for and budgeted for and worn once to a work gala where I felt beautiful and confident. She needed it for a date. A really important date. He's taking me somewhere fancy. I have nothing to wear. Please, Emma. You have such great taste. Returned it 3 days later with a wine stain on the skirt. I'm so sorry. I'll pay for the cleaning. She never paid for the cleaning. She used my Amazon account, just once, for something she needed urgently. My laptop died and I need it for a job interview. I'll pay you back immediately. I just need to order one right now and my card is maxed out. $600 in charges showed up that I didn't make. Not just a laptop. Books. Clothes. A coffee maker. Wireless headphones. Skincare products. I called her. Sarah, there are all these charges. She started crying immediately. I know. I know. I'm so sorry. I've been in such a dark place. I've been stress shopping, and I know that's not an excuse, but I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to stop. Please don't hate me. How do you stay mad at someone who's crying? Who's admitting they have a problem? Who's asking for patience while they work on themselves? I forgave her again. Because that's what friends do. They support each other through dark times. They don't abandon people who are struggling. But that's not what was happening. Derek proposed on a beach in California. We'd driven up for a weekend trip. He got down on one knee in the sand with his grandmother's ring and asked me to marry him while the ocean crashed behind us. I called Sarah first, before my own mother, because she was supposed to be my best friend, the one who knew everything. Oh my God. Oh my God. Emma. I'm crying. I'm actually crying right now. This is so perfect. You guys are so perfect. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. She cried through the whole phone call. Happy, excited tears. The kind of tears that feel like love. Can I be your maid of honor? Please? I know that's presumptuous to ask, but I just love you so much, and I want to be part of this. I said yes immediately. Of course, yes. She was my best friend. Who else would stand next to me? What I didn't know. Sarah had been sleeping with Derek for 8 months. Since before the promotion. Since before the proposal. Since before I'd started planning a future that included both of them. Every Thursday work meeting was drinks at her apartment. Dinner at restaurants I'd never heard of. The ring on her finger in my kitchen wasn't a sudden betrayal. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It wasn't a mistake. It was the conclusion of a long con. The final play in a game I didn't know I was playing. And I'd been too nice, too trusting, too busy being the good friend and good girlfriend to see any of it. The signs were everywhere, painted in neon, screaming at me. And I'd walked past all of them smiling. So here's where nice Emma dies and terrifying Emma is born. I didn't cry or beg. Didn't show up at Derek's office with mascara running down my face begging him to explain. Didn't call Sarah 50 times demanding answers. I drove straight to Marcus's house. Marcus is my friend from college. Became an accountant because he likes numbers more than people. Numbers don't lie, he always said. People lie. Numbers just are. I rang his doorbell at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. He opened the door in sweatpants with ramen in his hand. Emma? Are you? I need you to look at something, I said, pushing past him into his living room. I dumped 3 years of bank statements on his coffee table. Printed that afternoon from the library because I didn't want to be in my apartment and I didn't want to use my own printer. I need you to tell me if I'm crazy. For hours later, we had numbers. Cold, hard, impossible to argue with numbers. $14,000 in direct transfers to Sarah over 3 years. Not $1 repaid. Not one. Marcus made a spreadsheet. Organized by date. By amount. By excuse. Emergency dental work. Car repairs. Rent help. Medical bills. Vet emergency. We sat there looking at the screen. Emma, Marcus said carefully, the way you talk to someone on a ledge. Did you know Sarah is an authorized user on your credit card? My stomach dropped. What? No. No, she's not. She is. According to this, she was added 18 months ago. He showed me his laptop. There she was. Sarah Mitchell. Authorized user. Added March 2023. I never added her. I didn't get any notification. We checked my email. Found the confirmation buried in trash. Not deleted. Moved by someone who'd accessed my account. Then we found the charges. $8,367.42 in charges I didn't make. Marcus clicked through them, reading them out loud like evidence. Anthropology, $287. Sephora, $156. Din Tai Fung, $98. The Ivy, $234. Weekend getaway to Napa Valley, $1,847. When was Napa? Marcus asked quietly. My mouth went dry. August. Derek told me he had a work conference in Chicago that weekend. We just looked at each other. Emma. Marcus's voice was gentle. Too gentle. I think you need to check your email settings. He was right. Someone had set up a forwarding rule. All emails from Derek during work hours, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, were being automatically archived. It never hit my inbox. Just disappeared into a folder I didn't know existed. I clicked on the folder. There were hundreds of emails. Messages I'd never seen. Missing you already. Last night was incredible. Can't wait to see you Thursday. Emma's working late again. Want to grab dinner? She said yes to the proposal. Everything's going according to plan. That last one was from Derek to Sarah. Sent 3 days after he proposed. Sent through my email account that Sarah had been accessing with my password. My password that was my birthday. March 15th. Because I'd never had a reason to hide anything from my best friend. Have you ever had that moment where your entire reality rearranges itself? Where everything you thought was true becomes a lie? Drop a comment if you've ever realized someone's entire friendship was just a con. Because what came next changed everything. There's more, Marcus said. He looked sick. Your joint account with Derek. The wedding fund. We'd opened it a year ago. We each contributed monthly. Should have had $12,000 by now. It had $4,137. The withdrawals were all Derek. Every Thursday for 6 months. Amounts ranging from $200 to $800. He's been funding their dates with your wedding money, Marcus said. I couldn't breathe. The room felt too small. Emma, I need to know. Do you want me to keep looking? Because if there's more, I'll find it. But you need to be ready. Keep looking. 2 more hours. Marcus was relentless. He checked everything. Credit reports. Subscriptions. Utility bills. Phone records. Everything connected to my name or accounts. The phone thing broke me. Derek and I had a joint plan. I paid for it. Had for 2 years. Marcus called the company using my account credentials. Who's listed as emergency contact? He asked casually. Sarah Mitchell. Added 10 months ago. She had access to our call records. Our locations. Our usage data. Everything. She's been tracking you, Marcus said. She knew when Derek called you. When you called him. Probably how to avoid getting caught. I felt nauseous. What else? Marcus pulled up my Amazon account. She's been using your Prime account for 2 years. Not just ordering things. She's been selling stuff. What? She listed herself as a secondary user. She's been buying items with your stored payment methods and then returning them to different addresses for gift cards. It's a fraud scheme. She's made about $3,000 doing it. I stared at the screen. At the evidence of systematic theft. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't a friend in need. This was a predator who'd found an easy target. Is there more? I asked. Yeah. Marcus hesitated. Emma, does Sarah have a key to your apartment? For emergencies. She's been going there when you're at work. Your building has security cameras. I pulled the footage. He showed me his phone. Time-stamped videos of Sarah entering my building. Multiple times a week. Sometimes staying for hours. What was she doing? I don't know. But I think you need to check your apartment. Carefully. I rushed home at midnight and turned on every light. I started in my bedroom and went through my closet. Found 5 items of clothing missing that I'd thought I'd lost or misplaced. Checked my jewelry box. My grandmother's earrings were gone. The ones I was planning to wear at my wedding. Then I found Sarah's box. The one she'd asked me to store 3 months ago because her apartment was too small and she didn't have space. Just temporarily, she'd said. Until I figure out my storage situation. I'd said yes again. The box was in my closet. Sealed with packing tape. I cut it open. Inside, my grandmother's earrings. My missing clothes. A folder full of documents with my personal information. Social Security card photocopy. Bank statements. Tax returns. Things she'd stolen and kept. And a journal. Purple leather with her initials embossed in gold. Look, I know reading someone's journal is wrong. But you know what else is wrong? Stealing $22,000 and sleeping with someone's fiancé. The entries were detailed. So detailed. The first entry was from 3 years ago. A week after we met. Found a mark today. Rich girl at networking event. She seems lonely. Easy target. Nice girls are always the easiest. They think helping people makes them good. Makes them special. I'll let her think that for a while. I kept reading. Emma gave me my first month's rent. She thinks it's a loan. She's going to be waiting a long time for that money back. She's so grateful to have a friend. Pathetic. Introduced to her boyfriend today. Derek. Financial analyst. Stable income. Good on paper. He was checking me out the whole night. Emma didn't notice. She never notices anything. Started flirting with Derek. He's easier than expected. All I had to do was listen to him complain about Emma being too career-focused. Men are so predictable. They think they want ambitious women until they actually date one. Slept with Derek for the first time. He feels guilty, but not guilty enough to stop. He'll come back. They always do. Emma got another promotion. Bigger apartment soon. I need to stay close. She's too useful. 6 months ago, Emma's boring. All she talks about is work and wedding planning. Derek deserves better. I'm doing him a favor. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the journal. I closed the journal and sat in silence. 3 years of friendship. Of trust. Of believing I was helping someone who needed it. That's when nice Emma died. Right there on the bedroom floor, surrounded by evidence of systematic betrayal. And the person who stood up? They should have been scared of her. Revenge isn't screaming. It's a strategy. I didn't call Sarah or Derek. Didn't send angry texts or post vague Facebook statuses or tell everyone who'd listen what they'd done. I sat at my kitchen table with Marcus and made a plan. First things first, Marcus said. The credit card fraud. That's a felony. You need to report it. I called my credit card company at 8 a.m. Spoke to a fraud specialist named Jennifer who'd clearly handled situations like this before. I need to report unauthorized charges. An authorized user has been making purchases without my knowledge or consent. I see. And when did you add this person as an authorized user? I didn't. I believe they added themselves using my account information. Silence. Then, that's identity theft. We'll need you to file a police report. Absolutely. I filed the police report that afternoon. Detective Morrison took my statement, looked at the evidence Marcus had compiled, went through every charge, every transaction, every piece of documentation. This is substantial fraud, he said. Credit card fraud, identity theft, possibly wire fraud if she was moving money between accounts. How long has this been going on? 3 years. He whistled. And you're just reporting it now? I didn't know until 2 days ago. He looked at me with something like pity. She's good. Most fraud victims don't realize for years. You're actually catching it relatively early. Case number assigned. Sarah was under investigation. She just didn't know yet. Second move, Sarah's employer. I'd been to her boutique once. Cute place in the arts district. Expensive clothes. The owner, Melissa, prided herself on ethical practices and community-focused. Her website had an entire page about values and integrity. I created an anonymous email and sent a message. Hey, might want to check if your employees are doing personal shopping on company time and computers. Just saying. Attached are some timestamps. Attached screenshots. Timestamps. IP addresses Marcus had pulled. Third move was the most satisfying. It was Derek's mother. Linda never liked me much. Thought Derek could do better. But she'd given Derek $15,000 toward my engagement ring. Because her mother's ring was family tradition. Because it had to be properly insured. I called her. Linda, I need to talk to you about something important. Can we meet? We met at a coffee shop in her neighborhood. She showed up suspicious. I showed up with folders. Thank you for meeting me, I said. What's this about, Emma? I slid the first folder across the table. I need you to see something. She opened it. Bank statements first. Highlighted transfers. Notes in the margins. Dates. Amounts. She read in silence. This is Sarah. Derek's. She stopped. Looked up at me. Is Derek involved with this person financially? Romantically. Her face went white. Then red. Then white again. I slid the second folder over. Printouts from Sarah's journal. Selected entries. The ones about Derek. About the affair. About the ring. Linda read in complete silence. Her hands started shaking by the third page. That little bitch, she said finally. My future mother-in-law who'd once scolded me for saying, damn. My mother's ring. My mother's ring is on this woman's finger. Yes. Where did she get it? Derek gave it to her. They're engaged. Linda stood up. Sat down. Stood up again. When? I found out 2 days ago. He told me he was going to propose to you. He told me. She stopped. Understanding crashed across her face. He already proposed to you. Months ago. Yes. So he proposed to you with my mother's ring and then gave it to her? I believe she's wearing the same ring, yes. Linda's coffee cup shattered in her hand. She didn't notice. Just stared at the table. I want it back, she said quietly. I want my mother's ring back today. You'll need to talk to Derek about that. I'll do more than talk. She looked at me. Really looked at me. Emma. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't. If I'd known what kind of person he was capable of being. It's okay. It's not okay. None of this is okay. She gathered the folders. Can I keep these? They're yours. Fourth move, boundaries. I called my landlord. I need Sarah Mitchell removed from my approved guest list. She's no longer authorized to enter the building. Any particular reason? She's stolen from my apartment. I filed a police report. Say no more. I'll update security immediately. I changed my locks that afternoon. Called a locksmith. Had them done in 2 hours. Sarah's key to my apartment no longer worked. Changed my passwords. All of them. Email. Bank accounts. Social media. Amazon. Everything. Used a password manager. Made them all different. Revoked Sarah's authorized user status on my credit card. Reported the card as compromised. Got a new number. Knew everything. Closed the joint bank account with Derek. Transferred my half to my personal account. Left him his $4,137. I didn't want his money. I wanted him to understand what he'd done with the rest. Fifth move was my favorite. The one I'd stay up at night thinking about with a smile. I created a profile in a popular dating app. Used a male identity and named him Marcus Bennett because Sarah wouldn't make the connection. Then I found Sarah's profile. She'd updated it recently with new photos. Still listed as single. Bio said she was looking for something real with someone who understands her. I messaged her, "You're stunning. Your profile made me laugh. Would love to take you to dinner and see if we click in person." She responded in 47 minutes. Thank you. That's so sweet. Full disclosure, I'm actually engaged. But honestly, he doesn't really understand me. We're going through some stuff. We messaged for 3 days. She flirted aggressively. Sent photos. Made plans to meet for drinks. Complained about her fiancé. Said he was emotionally unavailable. And not as successful as she'd hoped. He's fine, she wrote. But I thought he'd be further along in his career by now. I'm starting to think I settled. I screenshotted everything. On day 4, she sent, "I can't stop thinking about meeting you. My fiancé's out of town for work. Maybe we could meet this weekend." Derek wasn't out of town. I'd checked his location. He was at his apartment. She was already planning the next con. The next target. Already bored with Derek now that she had what she wanted. I'd love that, I typed back. Saturday at 8? There's a great wine bar downtown. Perfect. Can't wait. I saved everything. Sent it all to my lawyer. To the police. To my personal evidence folder that was growing by the day. Sixth move, I invited them both to lunch. But separately. To Derek, I know things are complicated right now. But we need to talk about logistics. The apartment lease. Our bank accounts. I want to handle this like adults. Can we meet for lunch on Saturday? Just to figure things out. He responded in 10 minutes. Yes. Thank you for being reasonable about this. I was worried you'd make it difficult. Reasonable. He thought I was going to make this easy for him. To Sarah, I've had some time to process everything. I think we should talk. I need closure. I need to understand. Can we meet Saturday for lunch? I promise I'm not angry. I just want to understand what happened. She took longer to respond. 2 hours. Emma, I'd really like that. I've been so worried about you. I never wanted to hurt you. There's so much you don't know. So much I need to explain. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk. giving her a chance. Like she was doing me a favor. A server appeared. Can I get anyone drinks? We're fine, I said. We won't be long. Derek and Sarah exchanged glances. That same united front look. That same silent communication. They thought they were about to tag team me. Convince me to be reasonable. To walk away quietly. To make their lives easier. They had no idea what was coming. I slid the first folder across the table. Right into the space between them. What's this? Derek asked. Open it. He did. Sarah leaned over to look. Bank statements. 3 years. Every transfer highlighted in yellow. I added notes in the margins. Emergency dental work, never repaid. Car repairs, never repaid. Rent assistance, never repaid. Medical emergency, never repaid. Page after page after page. Derek's expression changed. Sarah's face went carefully blank. This is documentation of fraud, I said. My voice was calm. The voice I used in board meetings. Sarah, according to these records, you owe me $14,000 in unpaid loans, plus $8,367 in unauthorized credit card charges. Total, $22,367. Emma, Sarah started. I filed a police report Wednesday morning. Detective Morrison is handling the investigation. Credit card fraud is a federal offense. The charges carry up to 20 years in prison. Sarah's mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. You wouldn't, she whispered. I did. I slid the second folder to Derek. This one's for you. He opened it with shaking hands. Text messages. Printed. Dated. Between Sarah and 3 other men over the past 6 months. Screenshots from the dating app where she'd been flirting with Marcus. Planning dates. Sending photos. Complaining about Derek. He's boring in bed. He's not as successful as I thought he'd be. I'm starting to think I can do better. This is temporary until I figure out my next move. Derek's face went from pale to red to pale again. What is this? His voice cracked. That's Sarah building her next exit strategy, I said. She was planning to meet Marcus for drinks tonight. 8 p.m. While you thought she was having dinner with her sister. Sarah stood up. This is insane. You're making things up. Sit down. Something in my voice made her sit. I'm not done, I said. I pulled out my phone. Opened my email. Turned the screen to face them both. This is from your employer, Sarah. Melissa? The boutique owner who values ethical practices. I read out loud. Dear Sarah, after reviewing security footage and computer activity logs, we've discovered that you've been using company resources for personal gain. This constitutes theft and violation of company policy. Your employment is terminated effective immediately. You have until 5 p.m. today to collect your personal belongings. Security will be present. Sarah's hands flew to her mouth. No, that's, how did you? Anonymous tip. Derek was staring at Sarah like he'd never seen her before. You got fired? That's not the important part right now. Actually, I interrupted. It is important. Because Sarah no longer has income. Which means she can't pay back the $22,367 she owes me. Which means the criminal charges proceed. Which means she'll have a felony record. Which means she'll have trouble getting hired anywhere. I looked directly at Sarah. You should have been more careful about who you decided to rob. I didn't rob you. Identity theft. Credit card fraud. Wire fraud. Theft of property. I pulled out another sheet. My grandmother's earrings. My missing clothes. The documents you photocopied from my personal files. It's all documented and in police possession now. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. The same tears I'd seen in that bathroom 3 years ago. Emma, please. You don't understand. I was desperate. I needed. You were never desperate. You used me. I pulled out the final item. Her journal, and set it on the table between us. The color drained from Sarah's face completely. That's private. Not when it contains evidence of systematic fraud and conspiracy. I opened to a marked page. Read out loud. Found a mark today. Rich girl at networking event. Easy target. Nice girls are always the easiest. Derek was staring at Sarah. What is she reading? I flipped pages. Kept reading. Emma gave me first month's rent. She thinks it's a loan. Pathetic. No, stop, Sarah whispered. Please stop. But I kept reading. Every entry about Derek. About their affair. About the planning. About the con. Derek stood up so fast his chair fell backward. The entire restaurant turned to look. You wrote that I was easy? That you were doing me a favor. His voice was getting louder. You told me you loved me. You told me Emma didn't appreciate me. You said we were building something real. We are building something real. You're planning to leave me. He grabbed the dating app screenshots. You're already looking for the next guy. Derek, I can explain. Explain what? That you're a liar? That you used me? He stopped. Looked at me. The ring. Where's the ring? Sarah's left hand was conspicuously bare. Where's my grandmother's ring, Sarah? It's safe. Where is it? I pawned it. The silence was deafening. You pawned my grandmother's ring? Derek's voice was barely a whisper. I needed money for. You pawned a family heirloom that was worth $15,000 for what? A few $1,000s. I pulled out another sheet of paper. Slid it to Derek. This is from your mother's attorney. She's suing both of you for the return of the ring or its full value plus emotional damages. She's seeking $50,000. Derek sat down heavily. Put his head in his hands. Sarah looked between us. This is ridiculous. This is insane. You're both insane. No, I said calmly. These are consequences for your actions. I stood up and gathered my folders. Here's what's going to happen. Sarah, you're facing criminal charges. The police have everything. The evidence is overwhelming. You'll likely be arrested within the week. She started crying harder, same as that first day. It meant nothing to me now. Derek, your mother expects contact from you by end of day today. I'd suggest you figure out how to come up with $50,000. Though given that you spent our wedding fund on your affair, I'm not sure how you'll manage that. I looked at both of them. These people I'd loved, trusted, built my life around. You both made choices. You chose to lie, to steal, to betray. And now you get to live with those choices. Sarah grabbed my arm as I started to leave. Emma, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll lose everything. I looked at her hand on my sleeve. At the desperation in her eyes. You should have thought about that, I said quietly, before you decided to become the villain in someone else's story. I pulled away and left. Behind me, Derek's voice. How could you do this to me? I left Emma for you. You were supposed to be worth something. Sarah shouted back. You said you were getting promoted. You said you had money. You're as useless as she is. Their voices faded as the restaurant door closed behind me. I made it to my car, sat in the driver's seat, and laughed. I actually laughed. Deep, genuine laughter that felt like release. They'd expected tears. Instead, they were destroying each other. In public. I started the car and drove home. But I wasn't done. Not even close. Watching people face consequences is its own kind of therapy. The first call came 2 hours later. Derek. I didn't answer. Let it go to voicemail. Emma, please. Please pick up. Sarah's freaking out. She's saying insane things. She's threatening I don't know what to do. My mom won't stop calling. She's threatening to sue me personally if I don't get the ring back. Please. Can we talk? Can we fix this? Delete. Second call. Sarah. Different number. Probably borrowed someone's phone. Emma, I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But please. Please drop the charges. I can't go to jail. I can't. I'll do anything. Anything. Please. Delete. Third call. Linda. I answered this one. Emma. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for showing me who my son really is. How are you holding up? I'm furious. I'm heartbroken. And I'm taking action. She paused. I need you to know that I'm pursuing full legal action against both of them. My attorney says we have a strong case. Good. And Emma? I'm sorry. For how I treated you. For thinking you weren't good enough. You were too good for him. We talked for 20 minutes. She wanted details. Wanted to understand. Wanted to know how long I'd known. Only a week, I told her. And you put all of this together in a week? Yes. Remind me never to get on your bad side. Week 1 started slow. then accelerated. Monday, Sarah's landlord called her. The police had contacted him as part of their investigation. He'd learned she'd been subletting her apartment illegally. Turns out she'd been renting it out on Airbnb while staying at Derek's. Violation of her lease. 30-day eviction notice. I know this because Derek left another voicemail. Emma, Sarah's getting evicted. She has nowhere to go. She can't stay here. My lease doesn't allow additional occupants. What am I supposed to do? Not my problem, I thought. Delete. Tuesday, the boutique where Sarah worked posted on Instagram. We've recently learned that a former employee violated our trust and our values. We take theft seriously. We're cooperating fully with law enforcement. Comments flooded in. People asking who. People speculating. Sarah's personal Instagram started getting hate comments. She made it private. Too late. Screenshots lived forever. Wednesday, Derek's boss called him in. Someone had sent an anonymous tip that Derek was involved in financial fraud. HR needed to investigate. He was placed on administrative leave pending review. He called me 17 times that day. I blocked his number. Thursday, Sarah tried to come to my apartment. The doorman stopped her. I need to talk to Emma. Please. It's an emergency. Ms. Mitchell is on the no-access list. I can't let you up. Please, I just need 5 minutes. Ma'am, if you don't leave, I'll call the police. The doorman texted me after. Thought you should know. She sat outside for 2 hours. Finally left around 6 p.m. Friday. The police arrested Sarah. Detective Morrison called to let me know. We picked her up this morning. She's being arraigned Monday. Bail set at $25,000. Will she make bail? Doubtful. She has no assets. No income. No one willing to put up the money. She spent the weekend in jail. I spent the weekend moving into my new apartment. 2 bedrooms. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Hardwood floors. View of the city skyline. Building with security. Doorman who actually checked IDs. Underground parking. Marcus helped me move. We ordered pizza. Drank wine. Christened the space with laughter. How do you feel? He asked. Free. Week 2, Sarah made bail. Somehow. Probably called every person she'd ever conned. Someone took pity. She was required to surrender her passport. Check in weekly with a probation officer. Wear an ankle monitor. She called me from another borrowed phone. Emma, please. I can't live like this. I can't. You lived off my money for 3 years. Figure it out. Hung up. Derek's investigation at work concluded. They found he'd been falsifying expense reports, claiming personal dinners with Sarah as business expenses. Small amounts. $50 here. $100 there. Over 2 years, it added up to $8,000. He was fired. He tried to come to my office. Security stopped him in the lobby. Linda's lawsuit moved forward. Her attorney was ruthless. Demanded financial records. Demanded documentation of the ring. Demanded everything. Derek couldn't produce the ring. Couldn't prove where Sarah had pawned it. Couldn't recover it. Linda won a judgment. $50,000 plus legal fees. To be paid by both Derek and Sarah, jointly and severally. Derek didn't have $50,000. His savings were gone. His job was gone. His reputation was gone. He called his father. His father said, "You made your bed. Lie in it." Week 3, Sarah's criminal trial date was set. 3 months out. Her public defender told her to take a plea deal. With your record, with the evidence, you're looking at significant prison time if this goes to trial. Take the deal. Plead guilty. Show remorse. The deal, 3 years in prison. 5 years probation. Full restitution of $22,367 plus court fees. She refused. I'm not pleading guilty. I didn't do anything wrong. Emma's making this up. Ms. Mitchell, there are bank records. Security footage. Emails. Text messages. A journal in your own handwriting. The evidence is overwhelming. I want to go to trial. Her lawyer looked tired. That's your right. But I'm advising you that you will lose. Derek tried to distance himself. Told his friends that Sarah had manipulated him. That he was a victim too. That he'd been seduced and lied to. His friends didn't buy it. One by one, his friends left him. He moved back in with his mother. Linda made him sleep on the couch, made him pay rent, made him get a job at a grocery store to start paying back the $50,000. You will pay me every penny, she told him, if it takes you the rest of your life. Week 4, I ran into Derek at a coffee shop. Total accident. I was meeting Marcus. Derek was there with grocery store uniform on, name tag and everything. He saw me and froze. I looked at him. He walked over slowly, like approaching a wild animal. Emma. Derek. Silence. Can we talk? He asked quietly. I looked at Marcus. He shrugged. I'll wait outside. Derek and I sat at a corner table. He looked terrible. I'm sorry, he said. I know that doesn't mean anything. I know I destroyed everything. But I'm sorry. Okay, that's it? Just okay. What do you want me to say? I don't know. He ran his hands through his hair. Sarah's going to prison. Did you know that? I heard she refused the plea deal. She thinks she can win at trial. She thinks a jury will believe her. He laughed bitterly. She still thinks she can con her way out of consequences. Some people never learn. I lost everything, Emma. My job, my apartment, my friends. My mom barely speaks to me. And? He looked at me. Don't you feel anything? Seeing me like this? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said honestly. I don't. How can you be so cold? I'm not cold. I'm just done being warm to people who mistake that for weakness. He stared into his coffee. I loved you, you know. I did. In the beginning. That doesn't matter now. Sarah told me you were boring. That you didn't appreciate me. That I deserved better. And you believed her. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that I wasn't just. He stopped. I wasn't ready to marry you. I wasn't ready to be the person you needed. And instead of being honest, I destroyed everything. Yes, you did. Do you hate me? No. Hate takes energy. I don't think about you enough to hate you. That hurt him. I could see it. But it was true. He'd been the center of my world for 3 years. And now he was just someone I used to know. Someone who made bad choices. Someone who was living with consequences. I hope you figure it out, I said, standing up. Emma, wait. Goodbye, Derek. I walked out. Should I have shown more mercy? Should I have forgiven him? Drop a comment and let me know. Because what happened next changed how I thought about everything. 6 months later, my life looked completely different. Not just different. Better. Fundamentally, undeniably better. New apartment that I loved. That felt like mine. That had no ghosts haunting the corners. Another promotion at work. Director of marketing. Team of 12 people reporting to me. Salary that made me feel secure. Respected. Valued. And Marcus. Turned out the guy who helped me document 3 years of fraud was also the guy who made me laugh. Who brought coffee without being asked. Who understood that trust had to be earned back slowly. Who didn't rush. Who didn't push. Who just showed up. Consistently. Honestly. We'd been dating for 4 months. Taking it slow. Building something on foundations of truth instead of convenience. I never thanked you properly, I told him one night. We were cooking dinner together in my new kitchen. He was chopping vegetables. I was handling the sauce. For what? For helping me see clearly. For not trying to talk me out of what I needed to do. You didn't need me for that. You needed yourself. I just held the folders. You did more than that. He stopped chopping. Looked at me. Emma, can I tell you something? Of course. That day you showed up at my door with 3 years of bank statements? I was scared. Of what? Of what you might become. I've seen people get revenge. I've seen them become the thing they're fighting against. I was scared you'd lose yourself. Did I? He thought about it. No. You found yourself. There's a difference. And he was right. That night, I got an email from Sarah. I almost deleted it without reading. Had done that for months. But something made me open it. Emma, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know I don't deserve your time. But I wanted you to know that I took the plea deal. I'm going to prison for 3 years. I'll have 5 years of probation after that. I have to pay you back everything plus court costs. My lawyer says I was stupid for waiting this long. That I should have taken the first deal. He's right. I've been in jail for 2 months waiting for trial. It's given me a lot of time to think. About the choices I made. About the person I became. About what I did to you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve that. But I wanted to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I got caught, but because I hurt someone who only ever tried to help me. I don't know who I became. I don't know when helping myself became more important than being a good person. But somewhere along the way, I lost myself. And I lost the only real friend I ever had. You were a real friend, Emma. You were kind and generous and patient. And I took advantage of all of it. I mistook your kindness for weakness. I was wrong. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're happy. I hope you found people who deserve your kindness. I'm sorry. For everything. Sarah. I read it 3 times. Looking for manipulation. For hidden asks. For some angle. But it just sounded tired. Defeated. Real. I thought about responding. About the 3 years of friendship that never really existed. About the betrayal. About the systematic theft. About finding her wearing my ring. About who I used to be and who I'd become. Anne wrote back. Sarah, I got your email. I appreciate you taking accountability. That takes courage. I'm not interested in rebuilding our friendship. That ship sailed and sank. But I am willing to work out a payment plan for the restitution. Here's what I'm offering. $200 per month for the next 10 years. If you miss a single payment, the full amount becomes due immediately and all legal consequences return. No exceptions. No excuses. This isn't forgiveness. This is business. You owe me money. This is how you pay it back. You'll sign a contract. My lawyer will draw it up. Everything will be documented. If you agree, we can move forward. If you don't, the full judgment stands, and you figure out how to pay $22,367 plus court costs from prison. Your choice. Emma. She responded in 3 hours. I agree. Thank you for giving me a chance to make this right. I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. My lawyer drew up the papers. Sarah signed them from jail. The payments would start when she got out of prison and found employment. Derek tried to reach out once more. 3 months after the coffee shop. Found me on LinkedIn. Sent a message. Emma, I don't expect you to respond. I just wanted you to know that I started therapy. I'm working hard to pay my mom. It's humbling, but I deserve it. I hope you're doing well. I hope you found someone who deserves you. I hope you're happy. I'm sorry doesn't cover it. But I'm sorry anyway. Derek. I read it once. Deleted it. Didn't respond. He wasn't owed my time. My energy. My forgiveness. He made choices. Now he lived with them. Marcus and I adopted a dog in month 7. A golden retriever named Sunny who had no idea about betrayal or revenge or any of the darkness humans were capable of. Sunny just knew that we gave good belly rubs and walked her twice a day and let her sleep on the bed. Simple. Uncomplicated. Honest. You know what's funny? I told Marcus one Sunday morning. We were at the dog park. Sunny was playing with other dogs. The sun was warm. Life felt easy. What? I used to think being nice was my best quality. I thought it made me good. Made me special. And now? Now I think boundaries make me good. Knowing my worth makes me special. Being nice is easy. Being kind while protecting yourself is hard. He kissed my forehead. You figured it out. Did I? You became someone who helps people without destroying herself in the process. That's the whole thing, Emma. That's the balance. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. This is Sarah. I got a job. Warehouse work. Minimum wage. But it's honest work. First payment will be sent next Friday. Thank you for giving me a chance. I showed Marcus. How do you feel about that? He asked. Good. She's paying her debts. She's taking responsibility. That's what consequences are supposed to do. Teach you. You could have pushed for full payment. Could have kept her in legal hell forever. I could have. But that wouldn't have made me better. It would have made me bitter. We walked home holding hands. Sunny trotted between us. The city looked different than it had 6 months ago. Brighter somehow. Or maybe I was seeing it differently. My mom called one Sunday. Are you happy, Emma? Was I happy Sarah betrayed me? No. Was I happy my engagement ended? No. But was I happy with who I became? With the boundaries I learned? With understanding that kindness isn't the same as being used? Yeah, Mom. I really am. Because here's the thing. Being nice isn't a virtue when it costs your dignity. Being nice to people who exploit it isn't noble. It's self-destruction with good intentions. The nice girl who let Sarah sleep on her couch is gone. The woman who let Derek use wedding funds for an affair is gone. And I don't miss her. If this resonated, subscribe. Because being nice doesn't mean being a doormat. It means choosing who deserves your kindness. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is show people consequences. I teach people how to treat me now. With boundaries. With respect. And anyone who mistakes that for weakness learns the same lesson Sarah and Derek learned. Never again. You can be kind without being exploited. Compassionate without being a victim. The hero without apologizing. Where are you in your journey? Still the nice person getting used? Or have you learned to protect yourself? Drop a comment. Hit subscribe. And never let someone convince you that protecting yourself makes you the bad guy. Because the only thing better than revenge? Becoming someone who never needs it again.